Just a quick show of hands. Who does like WordPress for business? There's money behind it. Okay, and who does it for okay. I'll be honest. The use of this plugin, it's kind of overkill. So the name of the plugin is called WordPress Calendar, also known as Calendar. If I just look it up here real quick. One, when it's a very simple title. And it will look something like this. It's just called Calendar. What it does is it just kind of shows you, if you look it up in your plugin search, you can just download it and install hundreds and thousands of reviews. So here's how you get to it, right? So once you install the plugin, you go and then Calendar. It's kind of, once you install, it's pretty nondescript. You won't see anything going on the side except that. So about this plugin is that it really gives you a quick overview of your posts and kind of the status of them and the titles and the dates and the times. And let me see if I can blow this up. How do I do it here on a PC? So this is, I know it's going to be hard for people to see back, but basically what you have going on here, these are posts that have already been published, and you can literally kind of move them around and retitle them and edit them. And click on the quick edit, and it will pop up, and you can change the title, you can change the content. The content, it's in raw HTML form, so if you're not comfortable, I don't recommend touching it there. But you can change the time, and you can change the status. That's the most important part. So if you're basically creating content on a regular basis and publishing it around the clock, then you need to basically change statuses as the posts are ready. The drop down for the time is really easy. You just set the different in 30-minute increments around the clock. For us, we don't really like to always publish on the 30-hour mark. We like to publish at varying times around then. But you can still edit that just with. You can also change, let's see, sometimes it's buggy. We'll say it's 5 a.m. You can also change the status from draft review. If you have a review process, then you can actually set that accordingly so an editor gets notified accordingly if you have it set up. But otherwise, if you have it scheduled for like 5 a.m. and it's draft mode, it won't publish. But if you have it scheduled, then it will publish. So what I actually like about this plugin is the flexibility of it. So you can actually create a post. Let's say, I want to do a post for Saturday. I'm going to call it Saturday post. It's a draft. It's doing in the back end, it's actually creating a WordPress post like it normally would, but it's instant, or whenever the Wi-Fi is good, it is instant, and you can keep going. You can keep drafting out posts that are and then basically you can fill them out. There are some limitations to this plugin. One thing that I would want to do is be able to change authors. So the quick edit view here is a different experience than in the normal post view of the quick edit. So some limitations in terms of what you can do with this. It's primarily used just to call out your posts and sort of set bookmarks for them. Basically, I want a post to go out next week, and I want this, and is it ready or is it not? That's really all it's used for. Now, the cool thing is, and hopefully for doing this, so for tomorrow, there's a post that's scheduled for 5 a.m. and there's a post scheduled for 8 a.m. You can just as flip these around by clicking it and dragging it. And what that will do, it will change the time of the post if you have another time already. So that's valuable if you're, if you have another blogger and they're like, hey, I can't get that post, by 5 a.m., but I can get it by 2 p.m. Perfect. You just rotate that around, and you don't have to go deeper into the post to change any other settings. That's about it with this plugin. You can obviously go back. To change settings, you just go up to Screen Options. You could say, I want to look at 3 weeks at a time, or I want to look at 6. Change the calendar view accordingly. Obviously, it posts very well because what's going to happen is they get a little square. So you need to set the view that works for you. Sometimes that might just be a week at a time. Other times it could be a whole month. You can see in here, you can quickly make posts at a glance that way. So the normal post view that most people go into is this view. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's a traditional post list view. But you don't have any context into what time of the month, what day of the month your content's going to go live. So for us, it's important to be able to look at it in context to the whole calendar. So that's kind of the overview of the WordPress calendar plugin. It's definitely useful for your blog if you're publishing a high volume of content. But if you're posting one post a week, this is overkill. It's not going to help you. It's just going to confuse you. Any questions on this plugin that I can answer quick? Yeah.
I'm brand new, but at another little class that I went to, or workshop, they were cautioning new people about plugins. Is that just kind of a general thing? Does it depend on, are they dangerous if you don't know what you're doing? Or?
No, generally speaking, plugins will be okay. This one is a plugin that's used by thousands of other people. The only thing that you want to make sure is that sometimes there's multiple calendar plugins out there. They can conflict. As long as you're using one calendar plugin, you'll be fine. Yeah.
I noticed that week starts on Monday. Is that normal, or is it just because it has to be on the first? Or is that
I'm going to assume that's because it's a setting we have in our WordPress settings for the date. I think I can change it, and it'll probably start on Sunday. But yeah. Yeah.
If I write a post under the post view, and well, I set it as draft mode, and then I can find it here.
So have you created a post in draft view? So by default, without any dates, it doesn't have any context into that. So there's a button here that says show unscheduled posts. So if there's a post that's being created but has not been scheduled, you can click that button, and it will open up that column, and you can drag them in accordingly. That's useful if you have a lot of drafts and you're like, you know what, I'm going to take all these drafts and commit them to dates, then that's perfect to do it.
you can just click and drag them?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the beauty of this process, and I don't know. Oh cool, that's no drafts. It doesn't really have a title. I can click it and drag it over, just like that. And it's all Ajaxed and everything, so it performs pretty well. Yeah, so it's basically drag and drop, and you can move your unscheduled posts into it. You can also change your titles. So perhaps it might be a good idea to actually publish, maybe just have like a simple summary of what your post is about, and before you set it live, you just change the title right from here. Yeah. I don't know the author, but it's called the WordPress Editorial Calendar. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Where's the plugins? We'll find out.
There would just be one by that exact name.
Mm-hmm. It's called WordPress Editorial Calendar, version 2.7 by Colin Vernon.
I think the one you actually showed at the beginning was not the right one.
I guess it's not. Yeah, because the titles need to
I have
match.
a screenshot of the plugin in my slide.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, if you look up WordPress Calendar, it'll come right up in the plugins. So, all right, cool. Any other questions?
Yeah, editors, are you going to be able to do one at a time, or multiple people be in there?
They can. I don't know if they can do it literally at the same time because it's hitting the WordPress database on the same time. And it won't update both screens the same way like Google Docs will. However, you can have multiple people access it. You can limit access to it because WordPress has a role system. So there's normal subscribers, authors, there's admins. I think it's in that order. As long as they're or higher, they can access it and make changes.
I'll just interject. WordPress 3.6 is coming out shortly, and they're implementing post locking. So if somebody else is in the post, you won't be able to make changes. So that's until they're out. Yeah.
Cool.
But that's coming soon. That's not on yet.
So there's another plugin which is also pretty popular. It's not this plugin, but it's Flow. This is more designed if you want to have like a automation in terms of you want to have one author post and have that log go through and notify an editor, and the editor has to review the post before it goes live, and then they can set it live. It's called Edit Flow. It's a little more complex to set up, self-service, But edit flow is another option if you're going to sort of a corporate environment and you need to limit permissions and access before people hit publish. So that's just another one, just as a hint if you want to go into.
Have you ever used Revisionary?
Mm-hmm.
You might look into it. Revisionary is it's like a workflow process for companies that have multiple people that touch posts. So if one person is responsible for creating the content, another person is responsible for stock photography that needs to go on the post, receives the content before it goes live, you actually create that process inside Revisionary. So that each person has before it goes live. We used it at, I used to work for Anson College, and huge, thousands of employees. And when you have that many employees, you have a lot of content, people who think that they're content people. And then you have, your copyright editors that will see everything before it ever just like live. And it was really great. We had to do a lot of customization to make it work for the company and the exact workflows they wanted. But there's some pretty generic stuff.
Because of the photographer or the person, maybe.
The editor can only edit, and then the graphic person can only edit, and you can kind of set all of that. It's a lot of setup as well. Your process going because it's a complicated process. But it was a neat side. It really is true. This would have been great for them because there wasn't a way to see visually. Like where content was going, when it was going out, how it was going out. So then
do you have to create the roles and use the permissions, or is the WordPress roles
additional?
Yeah.
We actually had it integrated into a document that watched your clipboard. So when you click publish, you see the entire post to your clipboard and put it in the document management system.
Wow.
That's a mess, let me tell you.
How do you? How's it spelled? Like revisionary. That's all. All right. Cool.
Why was that a question yet?
Oh, the document management system? Because if your clipboards wouldn't work, you get on a Mac and the clipboard is handled differently. And every time they save a draft, everything is in the document management system. So it's a lot of handling WordPress and the document management. But practices are in a very federally where they're looked at, right? The government looks at them to make sure that they're doing everything. If you don't document every single thing that you do, you get in trouble and you lose federal funding.
So looks like they're using that.
A lot of places guided by the federal government.
And copy editors or copywriters, and you have an editing role, that makes sense to have that. I mean, for us, so for us, we have a lot of guest posters who aren't employed by our company, and they actually create content is not always up to snuff, and it needs the eyes. So they kind of create these posts, and then they edit them, and basically use the drafting process as a way to set that up before it goes live. Because nothing, all right, it annoys you as sort of as a blog owner when someone points out a typo in your post. It's kind of like, damn it, how'd that slip? So, but yeah, I mean, there's edit flows, I think, more, along the same lines as that of setting up a flow. It's not perfect. All day, but it's pretty simple to set up. Once you get it going, it's plugin. You're right. This is the correct one, not the other one. You can either download it here, or you just install it right from the plugin in your install. This plugin does update. I want to say a month. There's an update that gets pushed out. It's just when I update it, and we have a lot of other plugins too. So it doesn't conflict, so it's pretty safe. You can feel pretty confident in that. So cool.
You can leave that screen up.
All right, thanks.
Give Joe a round of applause.
Thanks.
This is the most timid group in front of. All right, let's see what's next. So before we move on to what's next, I'm going to give the same spiel that I gave last time, and I'm going to keep giving it until plugins on the repository have reviews. So all these people create all these plugins are free, and that's great. And I'm asking for everyone that uses them to just give back to the community just a little. To do that, you should register on WordPress.org, which is where we are now.
You could sign in with my credentials.
I could sign in with your credentials right there. Plugin though.
I don't think I have.
Oh, no. I will go ahead and log in as me. And no, I will. Okay, fine, I'll log in as Joe. And all I'm asking you to add, rate them poorly, because that tells me whether or not to use them. So I'm looking for plugins and there's 3 reviews, I don't know what to do. So as a developer, it's very frustrating that nobody gets involved. So you will just do one thing for me and rate any of the plugins that you use positively. It's favorite. See this little heart guy here? You can favorite your plugins, your favorite plugins, and then we'll rate here. It will ask you to give a little more.
Can you edit your reviews afterward?
Yes.
Okay.
Just noticing that are literally all of them free, or some of them free and are.
All of the plugins on the WordPress repository, which is owned by WordPress.org, are free. You will not find a paid plugin here. However, many of the plugins have Upgrade Me to Pro versions. And there are lots of other markets like Encanto, Envato. So there are marketplaces where you can go and purchase premium plugins. The biggest distinction between the two is that, well, if not the biggest distinction besides that, is that premium plugins are usually, and free plugins are usually maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Can you leave a rating without a review?
I don't know if you can. Fantastic. Yay. Okay. So I favorited this plugin, so let's go take a file. Tonight. Go down to favorites. Oh, it didn't favorite. Anyways, you have a favorite section of your profile, so if you, what was that plugin that I used the other time? Well, if you favorite the best list on your own profile page of all the plugins that you really like. I use it all the time, and they're making plugins that will actually help you install your on your favorites. I've already seen the plugin. We were gonna one the developers in this meetup, and then I found it, and so something great to do. Help out the community, rate your plugins. All right. Before I move on, one in the back.
Speaking of favoriting, is there some kind of a plugin to grab all of the normal plugins that you would normally put on every site and install them, bam, all at once? You know.
That I was talking about, and I can't tell you what it's called now, but no, I haven't even installed it yet, but it will, and you can bulk install your plugins.
Sweet.
The subscriber
manage WP stuff, which lets you have a single pane of glass for all of your sites.
That's what I was trying to say.
You can bulk install favorite plugins from there, as well as apply updates across all your sites with a click, do backups with a click across multiple sites. But as an good service, it costs manage WP.
So there are two leaders in that industry, and a third group that wants to be in it. There is Managed WP, which is kind of like it's a hosted solution, so you just sign up for an account and you pay your monthly due. And then there is Infinite WP, which is a software install solution. So you set up your own hosting, just like WordPress.org, WordPress sites. You install the software, and then you can manage all of your WordPress websites from there. A lot of the same features, auto backup, you can install plugins, you can run scripts on all your sites at the same time. Added Google Analytics, so you can automate adding your websites to Google Analytics accounts, and other things like that. And then the third one is called Remote WP, and I haven't played with it, so I couldn't tell you. If you manage a lot of WordPress sites, you'll want to look into them because you can auto log in, so you just your site, then you click it, login, it logs in for you, uses the security token to safely log you in. Fantastic tools. Thank you for bringing that up. There's my favorite plugin. I just did that. Oh, 7:15. Ooh, we're only 5 minutes behind. And Joe. I'm actually going to save that until after. I'll do the resources thing at the end. What was actually supposed to be here is we have an idea swap, and that's where you tell us about something you ran across that was great. Like he was just telling you about Managed WP to manage all of your WordPress websites. Do any of you have any, like, I ran across this problem? Nobody solved any problems this week? How are you all employed? Sorry.
Yeah, find this one that I recorded just now, but I had an issue where an old plugin for they updated to that 1.1 now API, so the other plugin which hasn't been updated in 2 years just kind of went out. And I found this actually way better, and it had like CSS right there, so it's not like anybody can go in there and style it. They just give you the feed, style it, even where you want the HTML structure to go, right within this plugin.
And this is a plugin on the repository?
Yeah. That happened today. Yeah.
I was playing around with Twitter feeds and sometimes I make all stuff free.
Great. Anyone else? In the back.
I was trying to make a theme from scratch, and I don't have background in HTML, CSS, so I found headway themes.
Oh, great.
Which seems to be working. Of course, I have to learn it.
I have headway in my slides.
You do?
I do.
But you're a coach.
I still have to know it all. I can. All right. Let's continue on our journey here. Oop, Joe's got one.
G with an X.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually a listed website, not specific to WordPress. What I actually like about it is a little different than WebPageTest.org. They actually kind of combine both scores from a Yahoo standpoint and Google standpoint, and they actually give you recommendations, and they actually break it down on how much of an impact something will make to speed up your site. So GT metrics. So just like it is primarily just for speed and performance. I mean, baked into it is also just good optimization in general of your website and the way things should load. You know, putting your scripts at the bottom, unless they're synchronous, put them at the top, you know, things like that. And then if you haven't tried the pagetest.org, there's also a good test. You can basically run, you know, testing across different browsers Chrome, IE, or Firefox, and the load times. WebPageTest.org.
Can you really take advantage of that if you're just doing an out-of-the-box WordPress site? I mean, you know, with the code and stuff, right? I mean,
A little bit, right? So you can change like some stuff, caching. You can change what scripts are loaded. You know,
Change hosts.
That can change anything.
If you change hosts, that dramatically change the performance time, and you can test your site before, and then you can move. You can test your site after.
And if you are on a slower, making use of a service called Cloudflare, which is free uses, would actually make a significant impact.
Cloudflare.
Yeah, Cloudflare.
Oh, cloud. I keep thinking that cloud, and I couldn't figure it out.
Oh yeah, Cloudflare.
And what does it do?
It basically is a DNS-based caching service, and you can log into your account and basically it's sort of like a proxy, but for your own website on everything on your domain.
It'll make it run faster.
Yeah, it runs significantly faster and also filters out malicious traffic. However, one caveat is that you definitely want to be comfortable changing and going back and forth DNS settings, because that can be a little confusing. But they walk you right through it and
How it works. Yeah. And the video is fantastic. So Cloudflare, in case you're interested. Yeah, no, go ahead.
It's called TwitGet.
TwitGet. Oh, I use. Yes, I use it.
I rated it too.
Oh, okay. Yes. He reviewed his plugin requested. So this is Cloudflare. For those of you who are non-technical, it does magic to make your website load faster. Good?
That's a good way to start.
Metrics. It tests how fast your website is. Probably come here and get D's in both categories, to be completely honest. Site that I optimized was able to, but there are ginormous graphics, sliders. There's just only so much you can do. So anywhere above 70%, honestly, pretty good in the left page speed column. The WYSIWYG grade, I've been using WYSIWYG for a long time, and how they rate things is not good. So I pretty much just ignore the WYSIWYG score.
Is there a site where you can go and compare posts for their WordPress feed?
Not that I know of. But that would be an interesting white paper study.
Yeah. A site where you can go and check, I don't know, user comments about speed for different posts, you know. This works great on this, WordPress works fantastic.
And it'll
But that's just downtime, right? Not performance.
Go to the engine.
You think it's speed test?
You know, to figure out where the best place to, you know, get posted.
Right.
Change it or.
I haven't seen anything. If he comes by the time we finish, then.
I remember because I just can't get it.
Great. Well, we'll go ahead and move on. I don't know what time I was supposed to be here. Let's find out. Let's see, 7:30. 3 minutes early.
I have a question. I don't want to take up too much time from you, but do most people, when they're using the free WordPress, people ask before they just have to get some help, a different kind of site or whatever? I get in big trouble.
That depends on the person. That's like saying you sat somebody down in front of a Mac that used PC, how fast would you learn to adapt to it? Honestly, I couldn't tell you, though. It really depends. Some people, I mean, there's empty seats in here, so clearly some people think that they know what they're doing or aren't having enough trouble to come to the meetup tonight. So I would say that some people are handling it by themselves. You really won't run into problems that you can't solve yourself until you have something that's going on your website that you can't control from the interface. So you don't want your image to be on the right side, you want it to be on the left side, and there's no way to do that. Then you'll need help from a developer or a developer liaison like Brandy.
And when they upgrade, sometimes it's my computer at home, I can't keep up with all the upgrades that they do and things. You just get used to one and then the upgrade. Does that become more of a problem for somebody who...
Use Managed WP. It will email you on a daily basis with which of your websites, and you can update them all at the same time, or you can update the same plugin across all sites, but not all plugins. It will give you very good access to that type. Yep.
So I'm into like more complex programs.
Mm-hmm.
So you run into scenarios where you run at the end of the road with WordPress and you have to switch to a different technology because WordPress is not doing some kind of integrations with something like that.
No, it is becoming more RESTful and SOAP integrated with every iteration and update. The other thing is WordPress.com is basically one WordPress, everybody's blogging it. So if they can host, however, I don't even know how many people are on there now.
Like millions.
Yeah, it's over 1 million. If they can host over 1 million blogging all at the same time, you're not going to run into a problem with this is, running out of resources, WordPress not handling it. It just won't happen because it's already been proven that you can host. Unless you're going to make it over 1 million, I wouldn't worry about it. Being with a good host is, of course, very valuable for that. Most small businesses can use just about any host and get along or be fine. But if you have 300,000 page views, you're probably going to want to look outside of Bluehost or HostGator. Maybe into WP Engine or Firehost. Those are kind of top of the line. Or Pagelessly is Firehost serviced to you. Okay, any other questions before I move on? These are all great questions, by the way. A group, I'm sure. Good? Okay. Don't say I didn't ask. Okay, so part 3. This is going to be a little ad lib in case you didn't catch my meetup comment. Limited time to get ready for tonight, so I needed to do something that I already knew. So we're going to talk about extending WordPress, but more from the perspective of tools. Hopefully that will be valuable for you. Nobody said not to do it, so here we go. In the last two meetups, we went over installing WordPress and using WordPress from a usability standpoint. Jeremy Saxey went over create a post and how to create a page. And that's the basics of using a CMS, a content management system. So today goes a little beyond the basics, which I'm sure most of you don't want a website that just you create posts and that's it. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the tools. Why don't we make this a little more open forum? So give me an example of a marketing tool that you on your website. What is it? Analytics. A good marketing tool. Need to keep these somewhere. How about a new slide? Analytics. So now you know what the site's doing. What else do you need?
You sign up. Sign up.
Forms. Request, contact, purchase. Okay. What else do you need? Joe?
Sign up.
Registration.
There you go.
Sign up.
Content?
In this world,
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Do you need content?
Yeah.
I expected to hear that from you. Editorial plugin's a tool. It manages your content. Okay. There you go. You need, well, we're going to call them call to action.
Registration or meeting sign-up.
Yep, we got that here. But since sign up has come up twice, we'll go ahead and just put that in.
Branding, headers.
There you go. Design. Branding. There's one that I haven't heard that I'm shocked wasn't first. What's that?
A logo.
Yeah, social. Yes, social media. I'm actually kind of tired of hearing about it. Did I miss another one? Somebody said something else. Shopping cart? Yeah, I got that under purchase here. Anything that jumps to mind that I don't have up here?
Logos. Everyone asks about that. I mean, I know that's in the brand.
Yep.
Virtual
Design. What's that?
A virtual assistant.
A virtual assistant. I'm not even going to Google that because I don't want to know what would come up.
Newsletter?
You want separate lines for, or can you just assume that something in your contact?
I put contact, but I'll put contact info.
Not email marketing. It's in between there. Forms and sign up.
I'll put it next to newsletters. Tagline. It's okay. Something else.
Keyword research.
We'll put it under SEO. I'll also put SEM on here.
Site info that provides plugins, everything.
We'll put it next to content. What else is on SEO? Oh, keyword research.
Video. That's under maybe content.
Ratings?
Ratings. We'll put that here with social media because it's kind of along the same lines.
While you're there, how about achievements like badges, points?
We'll call them achievements. I like that. I got them all? Okay, we'll go with that for now. These slides will be available online as well, so anything that we come up with, if you want to come back and reference it, you'll be able to. Less marketing, more WordPress, but we'll include it with Virtual Assistant.
And when you say it's available online,
I will go over resources after the presentation.
okay.
Okay? We will have a conversation about, because I don't know where we're putting them yet. That's part of the problem. I want to know what makes sense to the group, and then, because where it makes sense for me, you may never find it. So we'll see. How about business analysis? Because analytics are great, but if you don't know how to look at them or read the story, then it's not really going to do you any good. And I'm going to put conversion in here as well.
I think the actual that is more focused on users coming to the site and the part of the content.
We'll call that user interface. It's a good list. Let's see. We ran out of room. Sorry, no more. Okay, now that's it. All right. So this is a good list. For those of you who are less into marketing, you should have hopefully learned something from the list about what you need on your website. So if you're looking for a brainstorm on what you need to get your website started, here it is, or here it is. Now let's see what I have for us here. Okay, so I built a theme framework. Raise your hand if you know what a theme framework is. Ooh, good, the right half of the room. And a few over here. I didn't mean to exclude you.
You talked about it last month.
We did talk about it last month. How many of you came last month? The right side of the room? Good. You remembered. Okay, so I'll try and do this in as compressed time as I possibly can. How many of you know what a theme is? Do all of you know what a theme is? Okay, good. Okay, so you download a theme either onto your desktop and then onto your website, or directly onto your website through the Appearance tab. And what that gives you is a new look and feel on your website. And sometimes it gives you a lot more than that. Although the WordPress.org core contributors hate it when people put functionality in their themes. So you won't find a theme on the WordPress.org repository that has that kind of functionality. They don't allow it. So my theme is not in the WordPress.org repository. That said, if you find a theme framework, you will know that it's a theme framework because when you install it, it will probably not look that great. It will look like some square boxes with information inside of it. So why do you want that? Well, if you're very anal about what your code looks like, it's very clean. So you're starting from a whiteboard, which is also very clean, and it's drawing boxes for you. And then you're going to use the theme framework to fill those boxes with valuable information, good design, and user interface. All things that we identified in our brainstorm. The best metaphor that I can use to explain theme frameworks to you is a parent and child relationship. More like in the animal kingdom than in the household. So, like all birds have feathers, right? So if you start from one bird and you move evolutionary to the next bird, both birds have feathers, but they look completely different. That's a good example of how theme frameworks to regular frameworks. Theme frameworks, you start with something simple, and you get a lot of the same stuff completely custom in your child theme. So you start with a parent theme, you adopt a lot of the functionality, the way that it looks. I have a whole slide share for explaining theme frameworks, so if you're interested in that, share in, and you can take a look at the difference. Well, the reason why they're so great, or why I love them so much, if you've never upgraded a theme that you've customized, I hope you had a backup. Because basically, when you upgrade your theme, it erases all the files and puts all the new files back up. So if you've made any of your own changes to any of those files, wave goodbye. That became a really big problem for me, and WordPress solved it sometime after WordPress 2.6. They invented parent-child theme relationship. So you can get a theme framework that has a lot of tools that you can use, and then you can create your own child theme for that framework, and you can upgrade to get all using cool things without breaking anything and without losing any of your customizations. My theme framework is called White Label. It's called White Label because I've had to take the very basics of what you need, and I try to put a bunch of tools in here, which is exactly what WordPress doesn't want you to do. But anyway, so, what it tries to do is it tries to give you all the tools that we just read. Slide here. Nope, on the next slide. There we go. I'm trying to give you access to all this stuff in your theme framework so that all you have to worry about afterwards is design. So my business isn't business in a box. So you apply marketing in a box to a designer, and you should have a good marketing website. Show you White Label, but instead, let's just show you what 2 years in White Label looks like. No, I take it back. We will White Label first so you see where we start. Yes. Oh, that was fantastic. Let's try that again. white label framework. Yeah. You know, it's not just Sprite. So this is white label. Obviously, I'm going to use white label theme on the white label framework website. This is more or less what you get out of the box. Very black and white. Very. You get the logo area and the logo typical area. You have this area that you can drag widgets over here. So if you like to display right-hand corner, great. If you have your user login, there's widgets for that. There's a widget area. This is your nav bar, of course. The menus system within inside of WordPress, if you're not familiar. System, it's a fantastic tool because you can reuse your menus in different places of your website. Let's see, we have video, right? The download is here. It's also on GitHub, so if you're familiar with open source coding, it is all open source. You can see anything that I have. You can fork my code and create your own white label. I don't care. Have at it. If you want to help me, I can add you as a contributor to the code. So if it's not doing something you want it to do and you want to I'll bring you in. Now, what it looks like. Let's actually dumb it down even further. Let's look at the demo. Okay, so this is actually what the WordPress unit tests built into it. So you can kind of see what comments look like, and they make you go through this long process to submit your theme to the WordPress.org repository. And it's very gruesome as far as being a developer trying to get your theme up there. But the thing that it should tell you is that they're putting the theme developers, you know, through this long process to make sure that they're only providing you with good themes, because over the years it's been don't download anything on the WordPress.org repository because it's all trash. And they're trying to fix that problem. So do know that you have to go through quite a few steps to get your theme up now. So most of your themes that you find are going to be very safe and very usable. So now that you see what it looks like, so this is your parent theme, and then when you customize it, you get this. So do you see most of the elements that we talked about before in our marketing resources that you're looking for? We got some forms down here. This is actually a user interface form. We have videos. We have our call to actions. I see now. Got the drop-down menu navigation at the top. A few more call to actions here with the phone number and chat live. You have your social.
Is it really widgetized where literally the boxes are widgets, widget areas?
No, most of them are not. There is a widget in the top. There's a widget for the footer, and there's a widget for the sidebar. That's about it. What's that? No, it is. If you've ever used iThemes Builder framework, I designed it after I attempted to use their framework to build this website. It was a little too confining. I wanted something a little more open, so I simplified their framework, rebuilt it, and released it as GPL. It is, and I can show you a little bit more about why it's responsive in a minute. So this is an inner page, so you'll see again call to action. You got your request form, large, beautiful graphic, and then content area here. So now that you've seen this site, well, let's look at the spa. It's another good page. So this is another good example of what you can do. So it has some like sub navigation. This up here, it comes built in. If you've ever used Yoast SEO plugin, you'd know that it comes with a breadcrumbs feature that you have to turn on. It's not on by default. If you install white label and you turn on breadcrumbs, they appear, which I think every theme developer should be. So breadcrumbs are ways to find your way back through the website. So if you're 6 pages deep into website.com/news/sports/Phoenix/Suns. Okay, well, you're going to see all those in breadcrumbs, right? So that you can move back to the Suns or back to Phoenix. So that's what breadcrumbs are. Here's your social box, your plus buttons, again, built into White Label Framework, another marketing tool for you. Anything else in here? Nope. Okay, so now you've seen White Label out of the box. You've seen another site that was built on it. Let's see what other features that I can show you here.
White Label is a theme?
White Label is a theme framework. So what happens is I'm pretty particular about my themes as well. So everything that I do is documented, and workflow is very important to me as well. So two things happened. First, I didn't get the fancy WordPress update button, right? Because you have to be in the WordPress repository to have automatic updates through WordPress. So the first thing that I did was I built an auto updater through GitHub. So now I can get automatic updates for White Label Framework, even though I'm not in the WordPress repository, which is primarily the reason the most plugin developers and theme developers use it, is its ease of update. So I fixed that problem. And sorry, what was your original question? Lost my train of thought.
Like I said, I'm not real familiar with, I'm getting it, so I understand themes and so forth. My question was, White Label is actually a theme that you download and then design yourself. Like say,
oh, right. Okay, so yeah, so it forces you to create a child theme.
Okay. Yeah.
That's about it. And it does it for you. There's a button at the top, big red button that says, don't use this, click this button, and it creates a child theme for you. It creates your style sheet, your functions file, and a page template. So you really have everything that you don't even need to know how to create a child theme. It will do it all for you. Once you start trying to get into more advanced customization, you need to research child theme development, information on codex.wordpress.org on child theme.
So you wouldn't use other child themes with it. As a developer, you need to use the one that this thing creates. Right.
Well, or if somebody has already created a child theme with this in mind, then you would also be good. So if you've ever heard of Genesis, which is made by Studio, a parent theme, and then they sell you child themes that have a completely different look and feel, and even sometimes different functionality. It's the same concept. Mine's just a lot more bare bones. Very developer friendly, not so much user friendly.
So you'd have to look for child themes that are labeled white label.
Right.
For it to work.
Exactly.
Okay.
So then you just add CSS for the look and feel,
right?
Right. You have to know CSS.
Yes. If you want it to look any different, yes, you would have to know CSS. A majority of the websites I can customize the look and feel of the website with 3 files. The functions file, the style sheet, and 1-page template. I can make the websites look completely different. The Anthem site that we just looked at only had 5 pages that you would see. So only 5-page templates and a style sheet created, their entire website. This theme framework is actually old in respect to how long it's been around, because I've been developing it for 5 years. I only just recently released it, and if you ever release code, you'll know why. I was very hesitant, because once people start downloading it, it does all sorts of things for different people that you didn't expect. So I made sure that it was really well done before I released it. So multiple enterprise level companies are using this as their theme framework for their website. I think it's going to do that to me every time. So let's talk about some of the other cool features. Oh, that's something that we did not bring up. How about a site or a mobile version of whatever marketing material we're creating, right? Yeah. think I haven't quite gotten sick of the word responsive, but it's writing. Okay, so it has a feature. So this is, and again, you don't need, not necessarily pushing this on you because it's really for developers only. These are just things to look for when you're finding a theme or you're looking for plugins. I just want to identify ideas that you should bring into your website. Plugins that do all of these things that I'm showing you. I just want to make sure that I identify all the marketing tools that you should be using on your website, just to make that clear. I don't make any money, so that wouldn't bother me. Come and download it if it's useful to you, and if you want to get involved, I would be extremely happy to bring you on board. Mobile redirection. So this is, I've done it like 20 times for 20 different websites, and I got tired of rebuilding it every time. So what this does is you can turn it on, and it will automatically redirect on a mobile device to a different website. So this is not responsive. Main website, mobile website. Why would you want to do that? First of all, if you are actually tracking conversion, you provide almost no information on the mobile website, you'll get website conversion. If you're getting leads, products is a different. Running a store, a separate website is definitely not for you. But if you're a marketing website where all you do is collect leads all day, shocked to find out that a completely separate mobile website and a contact us form or a lead request form is going better than a responsive site that tries to condense all the content you're putting out into this little tiny space. That being said, it also includes the feature of a responsive website. So there is a appearance area. Let's log in and show you. So if any of you are so new that you don't know how to get to your WordPress dashboard, you go to /wp-add, and that'll bring you to your login. Oh, don't do that. Okay, so you'll notice here there's two themes. You have White Label Framework, which is down here at the bottom. Oh, looks like I need to update. And then this is all of my customizations in here. And the two theme options. No, maybe it's options. Okay, so here are all the tools that I built for the website. So you can load your favicon, so you don't need to know how to get in and figure out where to put it and how to include it in your theme. Just click the Upload Image button, you drag your favicon in, and you click Save Favicon. How many of you know how to make a favicon?
Yeah.
A favicon? Sure. See this little orange? No, you don't. See this little orange box? That is a favicon. And that one's got one, and I'm in the WordPress admin, so you won't see one over there. So that little icon in the tab is your favicon. Make sense? Meta tag. So I don't know how many of you follow WordPress security, but having a meta tag that says that you're running WordPress 3.3 instead of WordPress 5.1 is a huge security vulnerability. Other people will argue differently that you should just be secure and that shouldn't matter, but to be completely honest, they're going to check what version you have and exploit anything. So this gives you the ability to turn on and off meta tag for. So there's going to be some stuff in here that you may not have even known about WordPress. Knock it off. WordPress has 404 permalink guessing. How many of you know what a permalink is? Okay, some of you. So a permalink is a permanent link on your website. If you've installed WordPress before and you click around your site, you'll notice that it all the links say P equals 1, P equals 2, and those are your page IDs. If you want it to look pretty, you use pretty permalinks. Let's just open that up to show you what it looks like. So this is where you kind of select your permalink structure. So if you create a new post and you want you can't see this, but this is the year, the month, and then the post name, then you select this one. It's typically the one that I use, just personal preference. If all you want is all of your posts to just be / post name, then you select this one. So and then you can of course create your own right here. And there's reasons to do that. But that is a permalink. And this is the first thing that you want to do when you create a new WordPress website from WordPress.org, is you want to come in here to permalinks and change it. Otherwise, this top one, let's see if I can zoom in. See this top one? What it look like? No, probably not.
Why not?
You won't know the page name. Search engine stuff like it.
If somebody was coming to your site and they wanted to contact you, would you go, well, go to my website and then go to /P1224? You wouldn't want to do that, right? You'd mysite.com/contact us. Still not? We haven't made the connection yet?
The basic URL and say go to the contact.
And from that perspective, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
So
that's what
for
I was thinking. I mean, it's all navigation.
So link on like email or something to that contact page, and it looks like that. It's sort of unprofessional.
Yeah.
And they'll know that it looks unprofessional. They'll be like, well, why did you change that?
And the last reason is for SEO. So if you want search engines to care about what your page content is, arguably the most important part of SEO is the name of the page. And P=123 isn't going to tell Google anything about what's on your page.
I had researched this, I'm sure you don't ask the question,
Sure.
just very basic. If you have a website that's sitting there with one lame thing that you wrote, if with the new version, unless you have management system or?
No, WordPress has its own.
You could demo that right now.
I could, yes. I need some updates. 0. So right here, it's telling me that I have 3 out-of-date plugins. Why is it telling me 4? So I'm going to select them all. I'm going to click Update Plugin. Pretend like I backed up, because that's what you're supposed to do first. Yeah, it was back before you upgrade. I know all 3 of these plugins very well, the authors. I don't know the Akismet author personally. I was fairly confident that I wouldn't have a problem. And for whatever reason, after it's done updating, it still doesn't update your number. There we go. The other one was white label. I'm not going to upgrade that right now because I'm using it. But, okay. Dates. Pretty harmless. I clicked a button. I waited it. I will give you a little piece of information that caused me many hours of frustration. If you're updating plugins and it fails at any point, your website will be replaced with maintenance in big letters and white background, and that's it. And you can't get into your WordPress admin. You can't visit the site. None of the pages work. Everything is broken. So you have to have FTP access to fix the problem. FTP, file transfer access, and it creates a file called .maintenance. Delete it. Website returns to normal. If you don't know this, you'll be surfing around your files for hours trying to figure out what they did to turn maintenance mode on. And it literally, I mean, I was hours. I was into this, you know, the client site's down, they're calling me, I'm looking like an idiot because I can't turn off maintenance mode. Dot maintenance.
How'd you find it?
I have no idea. You're talking 3-4 years ago.
Is it still true today with the dot maintenance?
Yep, it is still there. Another good reason to do maintenance off hours instead of at noon when everybody is paying attention. Okay, so just keep in mind, dot maintenance, if you run into a problem, go find the file, erase it, website returns to normal.
Is it in the root? Or?
Whoa, 3 conversations. Is it in the root? Yes. What was this one? Okay. So wherever all of your website files start at, wherever you installed WordPress, it's right there. Dot maintenance, it'll be the very first file because all the dot files are first. Just erase it. Don't erase the one next to it called .htaccess, then you'll break everything.
Is it a hidden file or not?
Oh, that's another really good point. So if you're in a host with cPanel, WHM cPanel, and you go to browse the file and you're not using FTP, you will not see the dot maintenance file and you will not see the .htaccess file unless you are careful to check the show hidden files button. So if you're trying to be sneaky and not use FTP, you may not see the maintenance file at all. Also a good reason to have a developer in your back pocket in case things like this happen so that you're not down for 6 hours or a day or a week. Okay, back to 805. I'm going to go through the rest of these without any questions, simply because we don't have time. And then we're going to talk a little bit about resources, which should bridge the gap between this meeting and the next meeting, with any questions that you have. So this is URLs. The 2 options here, let's just make this bigger. Make URLs case insensitive. So if you didn't know, URLs are case sensitive. So if you have contact us with a capital C, that's a different page than contact us with a lowercase c. And you can turn this on and off now from this part of white label. So that both contact us pages, regardless of how you capitalize the words in each, will both go to the same place and not give you a 404 page. Another painstaking few hours of my life to case sensitivity. The second one here is 404 permalink guessing. Also threw me for a curve. If you type in contact and there's a contact us page, it will attempt to bring you to the contact us page. That's not always what you want your website to do. So you can go ahead and turn that on and off from here as well. I will show you why that's not always what you want to do in 3 tabs. Texturization. I don't have time to explain to you tonight, but you can turn it on and off from here, and if you experience problems in your code with quotation marks or apostrophes and things of that nature getting converted into things that are not HTML or they're HTML entities, you can turn them on and off here. So if you're running, if things start looking funny like apostrophes, come start turning these things off. Script sources. I got tired of writing in the functions file and moving the source of my jQuery. jQuery loads faster if you load it from a different source besides your own website because they've probably already downloaded that exact jQuery file before. So how many of you know what a CDN is? Content Delivery Network. The concept is they provide you with files closer to your local geographic area, so they come to you faster, and then they provide them to you in some of these cases. So like this one, if I click Google Ajax CDN, it's going to use Google's version of jQuery. Now, if they've been to any other website that also clicked Google, they don't have to download it again, which makes your website appear to load faster. So it's a performance tool. You can select where you want it to load from here. You can leave it to the default, and it'll load the one that WordPress always loads. I keep mine on the jQuery CDN just because jQuery makes jQuery, so why not? 404 page. So how many of you have seen a 404 page on a WordPress website? A portion of you. Is it useful at all? Okay. This adds a search page basically to your 404 page. So if they go to /jobs and you don't have a jobs page, you have a careers page, but the word job is on your career page, it'll give them a Google-looking listing of all of your pages that might be relevant. Nope, no page here. It's a great user interface tool, and it's a lot better for keeping people on your website when they don't find exactly what they're looking for. Automatic built-in marketing resource of white label. And it's actually a lot smarter than the built-in WordPress search. In fact, I don't use the WordPress search. I actually have a box that takes you to a page that doesn't exist with those keywords in it, and it uses this 404 search for. So that's how I solved my WordPress search issues. Okay, social media. There's a floating social bar. The floating social bar, when you have it turned on globally, appears floating on the left-hand side of the website on every single page and overlays your entire website. So if you've ever been to websites where you scroll up and down and that social bar just won't go away, that's what this is. It's a lot smarter than that, and there are widgets and shortcodes and other ways to implement it in different parts of your website. I just don't have time to show them all to you tonight. Oh, and it's connected to Share This. So if you've ever heard of that, you can insert your API key and track all of your social interactions on your website. Next, redirection. We already talked about that. It will redirect mobile users to a different website. So it might be m.mysite.com. You want all mobile visitors to go there. You type it in here, done. Layout. So we were talking a little bit about responsive. White Label Framework uses a CSS framework. That is CSS that's built to work in a very specific width, and it creates a grid system, not much unlike a spreadsheet. So if you've seen imagine building your website inside of Microsoft Excel. I know it'd be challenging, but that's kind of what it's like, right? You create columns, and then you put information in each column. And the reason why there's so many of them and they're so widely used is it bridges the gap between designers create and what you can actually do on the web, because there are things that are not possible.
Which one are you using?
I'm using 960.js, which is kind of funny because I'm not actually using 960.js anywhere. I now use a different framework, and I just haven't had the time to push in the update. But for the purposes of this demo and the that you saw are both using 960.js. Very popular. It was the #1 framework back when I was starting White Label. Blueprint and 960 were basically fighting for who's going to be better, and then Twitter. Anyways, so you have the option regular 960.js, so not responsive enabled. My modified version of 960.js, which is the framework with responsive built in. And then you have WordPress Pro. And that was a commercial project that I started and couldn't sell, so now I'm giving it away. It is a mobile website builder for WordPress. Label, you activate WordPress Pro. And it pains me to demo their website because they fired me, but whatever. It was good work. So White Label Framework with WordPress Pro activated and almost no customizations. Fantastic. It's based on jQuery mobile, and if you want a mobile website, I highly, highly recommend it. I haven't found anything in the WordPress community that was better yet. And it's free. How can you beat that? Oh, that last piece. If you want the sidebar on the left or the right of the site, I made that real easy. You just click left or right. Okay, page content. So most of the themes, I don't know if you are familiar with featured images, but there's a featured section of pages and posts, and take advantage of them, which is really horrible. So you can turn them on and off here. Just about all my features you can turn on and off because developers are very quirky and like to know exactly what's going on, so they like to turn everything off first and then kind of turn stuff on slowly. So you can turn your enable featured image on. That'll put your featured image in big, big graphic across the top of the page, just like the anthem page that I showed you. That big graphic was just a featured image. Inside of page content, you can also disable comments on pages, on posts, so you can disable them everywhere. Typically, I disable comments on pages. Most marketing websites don't want comments on their pages. There's this box at the bottom, and it's confusing, like, why is this here? I'm trying to sell something, or I'm trying to convert people. So you can turn off comments here. And then widget options. You cannot use shortcodes in widgets. What's a widget? What's a shortcode? Is in the widgets panel. So this is a widget. You have available widgets over here. You drag them into the areas on the right, and they show up in your website. They're fantastic and simple, but they are not highly customizable. If you want a shortcode to be in your widget, a shortcode is some text inside of brackets that does magic from a plugin that you've installed. It's the best way I can explain it to you. A good example, and I have no idea what this is going to do, is gallery. Is a built-in shortcode from WordPress. So every website has it, whether you have plugins installed or not. I'm not going to enable this because this would put a gallery in the top right-hand corner of my website. But you can't do these shortcodes and widgets by default. You have to enable this feature. And hopefully that'll go away someday. Hopefully they'll figure out that lots of people want to use this. But for now, if you want shortcodes, then you enable that feature, and it gives you access to do this. No. Enabling a widget is a security vulnerability. And I think that vulnerability, a security enabling PHP to be executed in a widget vulnerability, meaning somebody could potentially hack your website if you did. And I'm pretty sure that covers all of the marketing stuff that's in white label. We covered most of the items that we came up with. Analytics, it didn't. You still have to install an analytics plugin. There's like 20 of them out there. Feel free to use any of them. I don't think I was going to do so. Conversion. It does conversion. A great tool for that is Gravity Forms. If you haven't forms, you should. It's cheap for what it does, and it does track all of your forms everywhere. Fantastic tool. Sign up in newsletters. Again, Gravity Forms. Forms. SEO, SEM. You might use the Yoast SEO plugin. Anybody use SEO? Got a few all-in-one users. 2 great SEO plugins if you're interested. Don't use anything else except for all-in-one SEO. WordPress SEO by Yoast. Well, that's pretty straightforward. You need a designer to create something that pops so that it calls to action on your website. SEO, SEM, keyword research, hire an SEO company, running it, especially for backlinking, which is also in here. Mobile responsive, it does take care of. So it looks like I have some work to do to cover these other areas in my framework.
I have a suggestion. Jetpack is obviously a popular plugin. It does have some frustrations too, but it has video support. It's built right in. That works for YouTube and Vimeo and all that, so people can't break their.
3.6, you don't need Jetpack for that.
Even better.
Video is part of, unless they removed it in their UI changes.
Yeah.
Should be a part of WordPress 3.6, which should come out by the end of the month, but who knows. Slide, we just give you an example of some other frameworks. Some of them are not free. In fact, most of them are not free. I think I put at the top because I highly recommend them. It's a great company. There are great people over there. I know them all, most of them. They're growing. So hard to know them all. They create a builder theme. That's what I based white label off of. It was just a little too overbearing. So I created something thinner. Studio Press, most of you probably heard of them. They created Genesis. That is another theme framework. A very heavy framework with hundreds, if not thousands, options, and I would guess over 20 or 30 now. So lots of options here. If you don't know anything about theme framework, I would probably use this one because I hear the best reviews. Headway, we had mentioned, it's a concept to theme frameworks. On their homepage that explains what they do, the other frameworks. Very designer friendly. Color coding and automation for design aspects. It was interesting. I haven't tried it yet. This is the company Automatic recommends this as your theme framework. Haven't used it either, but from what I've heard, it's similar to the whole framework. And they have multiple developers on it, so I'm sure it's good. I just found out about today, and apparently it surprises me because I haven't heard of it. I was actually looking for white label, and I came across Whiteboard, and so there it is. This is, again, developer-heavy framework there. And then Bones, which is, I think they use Twitter Bootstrap. Theme framework based on a CSS framework. So, free here if you explore.
Yeah, so in your student, did you say it uses that sort of CSS framework? Or is that all enough?
No, it does not. That's what Twitter Bootstrap's for. Bones? No, Twitter Bootstrap frame, or it's not a frame. It definitely does. This is where I was going to keep my notes until we typed them in the other slide. And now that I'm 30 minutes behind the schedule.
Did the air conditioning turn off? I
think it did, yes. I think everything technically turns off at 8, probably to help guide us out of the building. I'm not going to go through all these questions, but let me get an idea for where to put resources for you so that besides this one day a month that you have some way of getting resources about WordPress, learning more, reviewing what we already went over. You know, I want to provide that for you, or not just we as an organizing committee want to provide that for you. And we're building a website, so that'll be great when we have that. But until that's done, I need somewhere else to put it. So how many of you know how to navigate around the resources on meetup.com? You know that there is a file share on our meetup.com page. Raise your hand if you knew that. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So there's like 5 people that would have found these slides. Any ideas for how to effectively share these resources for you guys? Where would you guys look if I was done tonight?
Put them in the file share and then join in the file share.
Yeah.
Okay, do you all watch the comments on? There is a yes and no. We have a meetup, so meetup is kind of our listserv.
Right.
827 members, and I doubt all 827 of them want to know about our North Scottsdale meetup notes in an email. But yeah, meetup that's attached to this. So we have 4 locations, and I just don't want to tell just the group that came tonight, but in this group that come every month that just didn't come tonight. Now, so I've been struggling with this, like, where do we put this stuff?
Carol has azwordpress.org.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, as an idea, we can, you know, as a group, kind of curate our own WordPress site and put the content in there, whether it's in post form or as a page. I think azwordpress.org.
It's not done.
It's not done. But
I can show it to you, though. They're in the Chandler meetup. They're actually creating this at each meetup. They're doing a little piece of this website. So their goal at the beginning was to show you what it's like to plan for your website, begin execution, install WordPress, begin finding plugins. They wanted to show you the whole process. Started that as their theme for this year's meetup. And actually, it has a lot more than it did the last time I was here. So.
Still in Genesis. They're going to be doing some like a learning framework out of
WooThemes Sensei. So the other cool thing that we're doing with this website and why you should definitely and keep an eye on it is we're integrating WooSensei, which is it's a plugin that allows you to there we go. So there will be quizzes, there will be then take you to a quiz, make sure that you understood the information, so you'll have a good idea of how to learn. To be completely honest with you, it's created for free by volunteers, so you might not see anything for a year. It might be longer. Somebody might step up and clear half of the tasks in a week. I don't really know. But if any of you are familiar with nonprofits, you know how quickly they produce things. It's not fast. If any of you are interested in getting involved, again, please see me. We need all the help we can get. These meetups don't happen. We don't all just show up here and then the meetup happens, right? There's a lot of work that goes into it. So eventually, yes, I would love to post it here. Is it a good place for it? Would you guys come and look for it here? If I posted the slides on the it?
No, without posting an update, you'd have pointing to it.
Okay, so how about if I put a link in meeting to azwordpress.org? Would you find it then? Okay.
Isn't there just on the profile for the meetup.com group there, you can just put the information in there whether it's something saying what information is where, whether it's
we do. We have that.
Some other site.
We have that. The problem is nobody can find it because meetup.com is not facilitative of sharing of resources. And so they really haven't. Their user interface doesn't. I've been an organizer for 2 years.
Could we at least their main location? Just have
like a .azwordpress. Yeah, I could do that too. Yeah, I'll talk to Carol about that. I think that's a good idea. What was that? Right, and that's what only 5 people knew that it existed.
What about the discussion tab?
Maybe if you showed us, we would be more people.
Let's. Okay, so this is meetup.com. That's my business logo all over the place. Okay, so this is our WordPress group, right? And the main section here is where all of our events are. And then if you go to more, there are files. Yeah, see? That's why I didn't want to put it there. Like, who's really going to find that?
Change the nav items?
No. You still can't even change the background except for a color. So we get blue. They are changing this, so hopefully in the future they'll make it better. But right now, this is all I think there are pages too, but stuff in there right now. There are resources in because the Chandler meetup, we've been meeting for a long time. Tons of resources in there. The other kind of problem with it is it's facilitated by like 8 different organizers with 8 different organization habits. So again, it's still really challenging to find what you look for even when you make it to that tab. And I didn't know it was there until just recently. Yeah.
This is my first meetup, and I went to the meetup page, and I actually found that when you had a link on the past site, that was really helpful because I'm brand new, so any information I can absorb is really useful. So the links that are in the body of the description, I found to be extremely helpful.
Okay.
And perhaps with each meetup posting, at the end of the meetup posting, it could be where to find resources.
So you're talking about in this area here, right?
Like go to the More tab to find, or go to discussions to find this, or click on this link to see the YouTube video, or
right.
click on this to find.
And actually, I did add the YouTube video, but apparently the Wi-Fi is so not happy with me that it did not post it for you. We have, so talking about resources, we have a YouTube channel. Let's take a peek at that. That should be recording right now, I hope. The user is AZ WordPress, and all of our videos of all of our meetups, 6 months, have been recorded automatically and played. Go and watch previous meetups. You could watch the meetup that we did here with install WordPress. You could watch, somebody want to grab that?
Yeah.
She's got it.
Master control.
Yeah, she's got it.
Oh.
It's 8:30 in case anybody needs to go. All right, so YouTube channel. So if you want to see previous meetups, they're on. I'll be completely honest with you. The audio is a little shoddy. You know, this is my laptop webcam. It probably hears me just fine now, but it probably didn't hear any of you as you were introducing yourselves. Off twice from publishing this. We'll see how it goes. I hope to. They have a PA system in here, so I hope this will actually get better in video over time. It's a one way or the other. You can check out, you know, you can kind of get an idea at the beginning of the video if it's going to be useful to you or not. These videos will also be on the web, curating that now. In fact, you can already see 1 or 2 or 3. So this will eventually be the end. Place. You'll find everything at azwordpress.org eventually. So from what I'm hearing for now, I will post in the comments to wherever I happen to store these slides.
So can we get to that now? It's not done, or we can't get to it?
This website? Yes, you can get to it right now. It's just going to look very moment. Yes. I'm going to take Nick's idea under consideration to create our own north.azwordpress.org. I'll talk with the other organizers and see if that makes sense. The first thing that I know that they're going to say is, well, we really want all the content in the same spot. We'll see. Maybe we'll have north.azwordpress.org until the site's done, and then we'll integrate with them. But yeah, I'd really like to just have one centralized location that everybody knows where they can get their information from. So you'll find it.
Can I ask something? The owner of this group.
Carol.
Carol.
Yes.
Okay, so she's the owner. I like to say owner rather than organizer. That's the person who pays the bill. Does she know that
kind of.
You get 3 for the price of 1? Does she know that?
3 what?
You get 3 meetup sites for the price of 1.
Yeah, she was not the original purchaser of our WordPress meetup.
She's not.
No, that was Jeff Babcock. License we're under, but yes, we do.
Because I'm wondering if they know that you get 3.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're not using.
Right, I'm pretty sure that they're going towards meetups that are not WordPress. So I'm pretty sure that they're being used. Familiar with it. I have different meetups besides this one that I organize. So yes, we know that there are 3, but I'm pretty sure that this is a meetup of somebody's account.
Okay.
And we don't really, this is actually a problem for me, which is that we don't have any funds and we don't have anybody really. So right now everything is done, you know, gratis. I can't print you, I wanted to print you name tags tonight because there's an ability to do that. I don't want to dish out $30 from my bank account so that everybody can have a name tag. No offense, but we've considered different ideas. One of them, which I think is mutually beneficial between the members and the organizers, is that we were considering starting the meetup 30 to 45 minutes early, and that you could schedule a meeting with for 45 minutes of one-on-one time with a designer or developer or somebody willing to give their time. So you would pay for that time, probably at $45 for the 45 minutes, but all of that money would go to our meetup here in North Scottsdale. And that would allow me to do things like make sure that we have a PA system that works. You know, we could pay for our own website hosting and put up our own website, but there are just some resources that cost money that I can't provide you with until we come up with some sort of funding process.
Is it just to establish a small membership annual fee, you know, $5–10? I mean, that's what they get to give you something.
That was my first thought, but we've been operating a free meetup for 4 years, so convincing all the organizers to ask for money, it's just not going to happen. I can put a donations jar in the back, and if you feel like giving money, then give money. If you got value out of tonight, then great, please, you know. And when you're donating, if I put a donation jar in, you're not donating to me. So, yeah, we've asked, and there's some problems with getting sponsorships, mainly surrounding the legal concept of donating. So tips jar in the back, no legal. So maybe I'll bring a donations jar next time and a PayPal link. Yes, I can do that as well. 11% or whatever it is, but maybe it's not that much. I'm exaggerating. Okay, so anyway, so those are some of my concerns about moving forward with the group and with the resources that we have. So I hope that you all keep coming back. It's 8:34, so I'm already after, and I want to let you guys network for a little while. So feel free to hang out and talk to somebody else, meet somebody else tonight, and I'll make sure that we're out of here by 9:30, no later. I could do an hour to vacate. Okay? Thank you.